Hi, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about ingredients. Just really kind of just cover the basics here. So ingredients are right here off the products menu. Ingredients, MUIs and pips. If I can hold still, ingredients, MUI and pip products, finished products. So I click on ingredients. It brings up my lookup window with the list of all my ingredients. And I'm going to deal with take a look at the flour ingredient. Which if I just put FLR, because I happen to know it's FLR for the item code, there's the flour. I can press enter. I can double click, I can click display, Alt D, any of these combinations to open the ingredient. I'm just going to press enter. Now there's a lot of information on the screen, and it's important to note that what's required is the item code and the group. Every product, no matter what it is, has to have a group in the system. We'll talk about groups in another video, but suffice to say this is group 1, which I do believe was raw ingredients. Yes, there it is, raw ingredients, so we're good to go there. And the other things to keep in mind are this is your flour ingredient. So your description is an internal description that the system uses that you're going to see on most, by default you'll see it on most of your screens and things like that. Then a label and an alternate label. A label description is good for if you have the nutrition module. It can use this label description. And if you have a situation where you're in Canada and you have alternate languages, some people will pull the alternate label, which might be the same thing in a different language or something, and it might be pushing out to another labeling software where you have something custom designed in that regard, and that's fine. So beyond that, those are all pretty basic. Now the important thing to understand is the relationship between the stock in, where it says tons, the use in where it says pounds, and the use per stock where it says 2,000. Essentially the stock in is how I refer to it in my stock room, right? So I stock it in tons. It comes into me in tons, I buy it in tons, I count tons when I do my inventory or whatever. Okay. Now when I'm using it in my recipes, I call for it by the pound. I don't want to say 1 and get 2,000 pounds. I want to get a pound. So I say I use it a pound at a time. And what this third field is, use per stock, that tells the system how many pounds there are in my stocking unit, how many use-in units there are in my stocking unit. So use-in, stock-in. So this way the system can convert. So if I have a recipe that uses 500 pounds of flour, it'll know that it's going to take down 0.25 of my stock unit, right? Because a quarter of a ton is 500 pounds. So anyway, that's important to keep in mind, and it's also probably a good idea to lock people out of that particular fields, because that could change things in our costing, and we certainly don't want that. Here we put pound per unit, and what that is, if I hover, it says data name weight per recipe unit, and use in, if I hover over that, says recipe units. So this is where I tell the system that my recipe unit, whatever I put in there, weighs 1 pound. Standard cost is the cost per my stock in, so it's $1,132.85 for a ton of flour. And I don't know how current our pricing is here in our demo, but there you go. But the other thing I can do is I can classify this as a raw material cost type, and this is good for when I'm figuring out my costing with, so I can separate things out, whether they're packaging or food costs or whatever. I get it from, say, Flour Mills USA, so I click over here, and I can see that I can have a purchase unit and a recipe unit per purchase unit and a supplier price per purchase unit, PU. So maybe I buy it from Ralph's down the street or the grocery store, Kroger or whatever, at 5 pounds, and maybe I buy a bag that's 5 pounds, and maybe it's $4 or something like that. So I can have different vendors and different pricing here in my buying situation. So when I create a purchase order, the system will automatically convert that into whatever my stock units are. So it's a good way to keep track of things, and the system tries to help you out there. The other information here is essentially for telling you what you've got on hand, what's forward stock, what you started today with or the period with, last purchase, how much is on order received, all this different kinds of information that gets populated when you start processing purchase orders and receiving them as invoices and things like that. So just a quick run around the block on the ingredients here. Hope we helped you out with some basic information. Obviously, if you have any questions, always give us a call at Global Bake US, and we'll be happy to talk you through anything. Have a great day, and thanks for stopping by.